the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
We had a couple of thunderstorms that rolled through the area last night, leaving some damage in portions of the region. Today, though, things are quiet before our next round of showers and storms coming later this weekend, especially as we head back to work on Monday.
And this morning on DC News Now, searching for answers, how family and friends are pushing for progress after a beloved teacher went missing in Prince George's County. And Donald Trump takes on DC, what the former president had to say about the city surrounding his arraignment this week and how people in Washington are responding. Plus, back to school season is right around the corner, how to get your student the shots they need before they head back into the classroom. But we begin with a live look outside. Look at that. You can see the haze, the clouds. This is Arlington, believe it or not, and that's because the humidity is here, the haze is here this weekend, starting to feel like summer again today after we had what looks like a break last week. Now, we want to say good morning to you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on DC News Now. I'm Tosin Fakile. We'll get to our top stories in just a few minutes, but first, Derek is here to talk about today's weather, which he says is quite humid.
It is going to be rather on the humid side according towards today, especially compared to where we were yesterday. Yesterday, we also had a few showers and storms rolled in at around the 8 o'clock hour across Washington and Frederick counties in Maryland. A few of those storms left some downed trees as well as a down power line in Carroll County. But things are quiet now, and of course, that little bit of rain helps add to the fog concerns this morning. We do have a dense fog advisory out for portions of the region, but all in all, we're still seeing, of course, a good bit of good weather here in D.C. Not too much fog, except for the fog that's lifting over the Roslyn community of Arlington. But all in all, we're looking at a pretty nice roll of weather after the fog lifts today. And there's the counties that are listed in under that dense fog advisory in and across the West Virginia Panhandle, going from Washington County, Maryland, all the way to northern Baltimore County. This includes Carroll and Frederick counties, as well as a few counties up into southern PA. After that fog lifts, it looks like we're going to see a pretty nice day. We'll see a few clouds to begin the morning, but by the afternoon, we'll see a little bit of sunshine.
All right, Derek, thank you. Breaking overnight, 2 people are dead after a triple shooting in Northwest D.C. 1 person is in the hospital. D.C. police say all 3 victims are men. It happened around 1 o'clock along Ontario Road Northwest in the Adams Morgan neighborhood. Police say first responders tried life-saving measures, but 2 of the men died at the scene. D.C.'s new acting police chief asking for your help this morning.
Even though we're in the preliminary stages of this investigation, we are asking anyone who may have seen anything, heard anything, or if you have video camera footage or video surveillance, we are asking you to contact the Metropolitan Police Department at 202-727-9099, or you may text us at 50411.
There is no word yet on a motive or suspect in this case. And a 14-year-old boy charged with killing a construction worker at Howard University last month will remain in juvenile detention. That's what a judge ruled on Friday. The teenager was back in court yesterday. The victim, 34-year-old Rafael Gomez, was shot to death July 13th after an alleged crime spree committed by 4 people. The judge ruled while in juvenile detention to either move the teen into a youth shelter or release him to his mother. The teenager was denied bond because the judge believes he poses a danger to the community. At 8:02 this morning, the search for a Prince George's County teacher continues nearly a week after she went missing. Last night, a vigil was held in hopes of bringing her back home. Our Yamari Sase covers PG County and was there for the vigil at Scrum Hill Park in Greenbelt.
A desperate search.
But what we want are answers. We want to know what happened to her. We want to know where she is.
To bring home a loving Greenbelt teacher.
And my children are stunned and they're very sad about it. She was a really wonderful person, just a really sweet and caring teacher. And she was a very effective teacher that really took care of her students.
On Friday, several people lit candles and canvassed neighborhoods in hopes of finding any information that could help in the disappearance of 59-year-old Mariam Toure Sila.
When you have lost someone because they're just missing, they just disappeared, it makes it very difficult, and it's going to be a burden that all of us will carry until she's home.
According to police, she was last seen on July 29th near her home on Lake Park Drive in Greenbelt Road around 8 p.m. Many believe she was on her way to take her daily walk at Scrum Hill Park. Since then, nobody has seen or heard from her.
It literally rocked my world, and it's been very difficult this week trying to focus on just regular life. This is devastating.
You know, we went out yesterday to the Safeway and were able to get in front of a lot of families going in and explaining to them that she's missing.
Her friends, family, and school community are remaining grounded in their faith.
Send your angels wherever she is to return her home safely.
As the search continues.
We want her home safely, and we want her home safely yesterday.
That was our Yamari Sase reporting. Salah is 5'5" and 135 pounds. If you have any information, you're asked to call Greenbelt Police. All right, now to the indictment of former President Donald Trump. At 8:04, people who live and work in D.C. are responding following Trump's appearance in a D.C. federal courtroom on Thursday. He was arraigned there on 4 federal charges. It was a historic day, quite the spectacle. And here's what we know. Trump spent about an hour in the district, most of that in the courtroom, pleading not guilty to charges that he allegedly conspired to overturn the 2020 election. He drove straight from DCA to the courthouse and back. And before boarding the plane, he had this to say.
Seeing the filth and the decay and all of the broken buildings and walls and the graffiti, this is not the place that I left. It's a very sad thing to see it. When you look at what's happening, this is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America.
After those comments, Trump said, quote, if you can't beat him, you prosecute him or persecute him. And then he left. Now, to see what filth, decay, and graffiti the former president referenced in his comments about the district, political and government reporter Leonard N. Fleming took the very same drive that Trump took from the airport to the courthouse.
Today, we retrace the former president's journey to federal court from Reagan Airport. Going over the 14th Street Bridge into D.C. with the Jefferson Memorial on the left, we saw isolated spots of graffiti on the sides of bridges as we headed into the tunnel. What we didn't see were broken buildings or decay, other than a few aging areas that, from the looks of things, have been there for many years.
He lives down in Mar-a-Lago, you know, so what is he talking about?
Cornelia Scott of D.C. heard former President Donald Trump's comments that his city was full of filth, decay, and broken buildings.
D.C. is not in that bad of a shape, in my opinion, living here.
I don't really see as much of that when I'm walking around.
Lauren Von Beckman also lives in the district.
Obviously, it's a city, so you see a lot of graffiti, a lot of rubbish, a lot of trash around. Just kind of in any city, I feel like he's probably in a pretty bad mood, if I had to guess.
Richard Moore works in D.C. but lives in Maryland. He doesn't see what Trump claims he saw.
In this specific area, I didn't see any of those things. I rarely see any of those things. You may see a passing freight train with some graffiti on it.
The comments were made, he says, for negative effect.
Some of the insightful comments are what they were made for, to incite people who don't live in the D.C. or the DMV area.
And the latest indictment is the third against the former president. You may remember he was first indicted by a New York grand jury back in March. That case alleges Trump falsified business records in connection to hush money payments made to an adult film actress during his 2016 campaign. The trial for that set for next March. Then in June, a federal grand jury in Florida charged the former president with violating the Espionage Act. That's after Trump allegedly hoarded classified documents in his Mar-a-Lago home. A trial is set for next May. And the latest indictment handed down earlier this week alleges Trump and his team worked to overturn the results of the 2020 election. And that's not all. Meantime, another grand jury is weighing possible charges against Trump for working to overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia. A decision is expected on that sometime this summer. And in other news, it'll soon be cheaper for Prince William County, Virginia homeowners to go solar and help the county reach some of its climate goals. As our Max Marcilla reports, the county is hopeful this will help encourage more participation and continue a massive expansion of its solar program.
In just a matter of years, Virginia's second largest county has seen a rise in demand from people who want to solarize their homes.
I want to do my part, yeah. I mean, I want to do everything that I can do, and then I have a clean conscience.
Eric Onstad had these 10 panels installed on his 3-bedroom Haymarket home and says he spent roughly $400 on fees. Through the first quarter of this year, there's been a nearly 200% increase in approved residential solar building plans in Prince William County compared to the same time frame last year. Cost, Onstead says, is a reason why that number isn't even greater.
I think decreasing the permitting fees are going to push people that are on the edge right now over the edge.
County supervisors are hopeful.
This is a way of alleviating some of that pain and that frustration that folks are having while the county works on the streamlining process.
They passed the measure 6-1, but both supervisors and Onstead admit it doesn't solve the whole problem. The organization Solar United Neighbors says Prince William County takes longer to approve permits than many of its neighbors.
There needs to be a cultural change in the office that does the permitting, because right now they're saying that they're doing it to prevent cave-ins and accidents and things, but that's not a problem. So what the real problem is the efficiency.
And that was our Max Marcillo reporting. It is 8:09 and new this morning. There is no winner in the Mega Millions drawing overnight. That is according to ABC News. That means the new jackpot grows to the largest prize Mega Millions has ever seen. That jackpot's sitting pretty at about $1.5 billion. The cash option for that prize is expected to be around $750 million. The next drawing happens Tuesday night. All right, Derek is probably going to play, but he knows our odds of winning slim.
Odds are winning are slim, but you're definitely not going to win if you don't get a ticket. So I will say you have to get a ticket to be ordered to have the slightest chance of winning, but we have probably a better chance of rainfall to come for us as we head into Sunday and Monday. We have, of course, a little bit of rainfall that fell last night, which brought down a few trees and power lines in and around Frederick, as well as Washington and Carroll counties. That has now since passed. Our next chance of rain isn't until Monday. Now, Monday will come again with a chance of a few strong showers and storms, maybe a few more than what we saw yesterday, but I don't think we'll see as many per se as we did last week with all the damage in and around D.C., but still be on the lookout for storms to come in on Monday that could still bring down some damage. Nonetheless, could have some weak limbs out and about that could snap off very easily as these showers and storms blow through the region in on Monday. The good news is we're not going to see a massive temperature swing with this coming on through, so that at least is good for us, but we'll continue to keep you in the know as we head throughout the show.